side voice. I hear these youngins by the slang that I bid first, and I can't even get no credit for it. That shit hurt. Yeah, we been nerds, not the type to use big words. Still down to throw you if you throwing the fist first. Fail face, but every now and then I don't get curved. Still in the broken hearted that we get what we deserve. Freaks so they staring and don't ask for no pictures. Cause I'm a giant man like I'm Fishburne. Maybe cause I'm hotter than the grease with a fish burn. We're slacking now, I'm putting in that work like an intern. I probably won't gain lives like trading in your system. The game stop. Don't really rap about what I ain't got. Been me since back when I could fit in the tank top. You think I'm ever changing? I think not. Hit the taco truck and I can show you the flame spots. They only taking cash and now I'm making the bank stop. Think cock, don't say a word, just open that safe lock. Now I'm playing the ATM broke and the rain wide. Raindrops falling on my head. I hate cops, ain't talking to the feds. Zombie mode on a rocky road, walking like I'm dead. Need to pick me up that I will eat the chocolate with the bread. Still just now me in my pockets getting fed. That's real rap. Now I can pay for guac without a sweat. You feel that? Playlist full of Indian drill trap. Problems I got 99 on me. I'm Lil Sap, but fucking never cried over spilled paps. Never crying over who spilled that. Young medicine man, and I'm looking to peel caps. Put on the beat and I will snap. Put on the beat, I'ma kill that.
Ryne Radio is brought to you in part by Cerna Cigars. If you want to burn like a star, smoke a Cerna cigar. Premium hand-rolled blunts with the glass tips, and it should be powered by Fresh Coast Cannabis. Follow both Cerna Cigars and Fresh Coast Cannabis on Instagram today and let them know that Ryne Radio sent you. We are also brought to you by Adopt My Block. Follow Adopt My Block on Instagram, but also support them on their Patreon or add them into your cart on Amazon Smile. Remember, adopt, don't shop with Adopt My Block. If you would like to listen to some underground music from the Northern California area and beyond, check out TinoKilledIt.com or TinoKilledIt.live. And if you're trying to have your music spun on Tino's radio station, call 915-233-2120 or support them on Patreon today. If you're in Santa Cruz, stop by the Rush Inn at 113 Knight Street in between Water and Pacific. Come play with us forever and ever, or until the government shuts us down again at the Rush Inn.
Welcome to episode 77. Falling sperm count threatens human survival. First of all, you're an expert in counting sperm. I make several claps for you. That's very impressive. The median sperm count is now set to reach 0 by 2045. That doesn't seem possible. Why do I say that? As an absolute novice sperm counter? Wait, 2045. Oh, you know, I probably won't need all that. I won't need my sperm by then, I don't think. Okay, sorry, would you like to increase your sperm count? Actually, no, I'm enjoying this slow decline. Go ahead, Mother Nature, take my sperm. Pause, B. Hey, yo, pause. Nah, B, it was Mother Nature, though. The people of the internet have spoken. Yeah, old people. And then you're like, we didn't vote for Ariana Grande. We're like, yeah, well, now how you know how it feels, huh? Yeah, Yeah, if voting was on the internet, you'd be fucked. We'd all be at a rave right now. Yeah.
What's up? Gangnam Style. I don't know. We're up in here. Ryne Radio, episode 117. Got a very special guest in the building tonight. I've seen this fellow many times at Tourette's Without Regrets. It's now called the Ruckus and I already fucked up the name. Ruckus and Revival, something like that. I'll ask him. Let's just get right into it. I'm gonna unmute myself, and hopefully he hears me. And let's see if he unmutes as well. I don't want to put him on the spot yet. Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, cool. It's almost like it's almost like I'm getting in the flow of this, and I set that up, but I kind of didn't, to be honest. Um, how you doing? How you doing? Right off the bat, very much appreciate you for being on the show. I always have fun with the interviews with folks that I'm not like super friendly with yet, but I'm just a fan of. So appreciate you for making the time. How you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I just got off a comedy show where I had a pretty good set, which is, I mean, always when I'm feeling my best. I'm just like, oh, people just think I was funny. That's all I need.
There you go. No, yeah. So
man.
might as well just keep riding that tide and going into this as well. How often you been doing like this? Like, I'm assuming Zoom show.
Yeah. I just did a Zoom show. I mean, at least a couple times a month. It's definitely not the level. It's definitely not like the amount of comedy I was doing before. I just got like about a week ago exactly. I got my second dose of the vaccine, so I have already gone and done outdoor comedy shows
There you go.
because I was like, I'm invincible now.
Right.
You can't stop me.
Right. No, yeah. I'm a delivery driver myself, so I've kind of just been like out and about in general. But I've done one open mic, and I was absolutely terrible. I just ran back to the comfort of my own show because I was just like, no, let me just go back to the people that just laugh at me regardless. No, like I just I try to use my same material as before because I was just like, let's just run with it. But I didn't have the same luck. But how are you feeling going back to it after a while?
I felt very good. I mean, my first set, well, I've been doing sets on Zoom, so it's not like I'm totally rusty. But the timing is really different when you're in front of people. But I mean, I did my first set. I was in the marina, and it was an outdoor. Like people were in the little parklet thing, the little parklet thing, and I was kind of standing in front of the restaurant, like far-ish away, but not. It was still pretty close, close enough that I could like hear them laughing and stuff. And then I proceeded to yell my entire set. I'm a very loud boy. It's just what I like to do. And then I got a bunch of people in the marina to applaud for Rush Limbaugh's death at one point. And what a gift! That's all I want. I just want people applauding that man's death. I don't feel bad. I have no guilt. I'm not gonna go to his wife or cousin's house and be like, that guy's a piece of shit. But like in a room full of people who don't know him, fuck that. Just applaud the death of a terrible shit person.
No, oh yeah, no, that's a very easy layup to slam dunk combination right there on that day. I mean, all over the internet was just more or less the same thing, just in the digital space. But no, that's awesome that you've still been able to at least come kind of get back to it, and at least we're getting into a place where our vaccines are rolling out, and then we are doing like the open mics as well outside. I tried like the one that I tried was like in a parking lot, in like kind of behind a bar, so like folks were a little bit rowdy, and I was just like, like what is the guy with this in the circus with the chair trying to keep the lion back?
The lion tamer.
The lion tamer, yeah. No, it was very much that feeling. So I was just, and I kind of felt a little cocky coming into it because, oh yeah, people ain't being out and about much, so probably be happy to be there. Not this crowd. This crowd has very much been out and about, regardless of what's been going on, and they were not. They needed much more than what they've been seeing.
You're going to an outdoor show. You're gonna encounter people who maybe haven't been the most cautious. So
Yeah.
I think that's my theory.
Yeah. I very much made the mistake of just assuming like, okay, I'm not going out that much, so maybe other folks are. And where I'm like going to the crowd that are like, nah, yeah, we've been watching a bunch of y'all suck. I'm like, oh, all right, we gotta. This is like I never left actually, but.
I thrive on a rowdy crowd, TBH. That's part of who I am as a person. I love making a room full of people who like don't know who I am and don't particularly want to listen to me. Like making that type of room pay attention to me is just like sweet, sweet nectar. I love it. I'm just like, give me.
I almost like get that feeling when I've had seen you like at Tourette's Without Regrets. Not so much like to that extent, but I just feel like because especially at that show, you have to be absolutely like, all right, hey, I'm here. Put your eyes on me. Zip your lips. I'm about to do something. Like that's why you're here, kind of a thing, to a certain degree, because they'll let you know if you're they're not really engaged with you, or if they don't feel it. Um, and I always have a huge respect for that, for anybody that's like kind of can operate within that space of comfortability, because I initially started kind of like performing within like battle rap and stuff like that, but I've always had a respect for anyone that does plays or ballet or any of like the real actual performance art space. It takes nothing to really insult people or rhyme while doing that. I mean, there is a skill involved for sure, but there's a level of I think it's easy to come from a toxic place, whereas it's a little bit different to come from a place of kind of like either beauty or trying to touch someone to make them laugh, depending on how you're making them laugh. But I think that's a little bit different, and I think you guys definitely capture that really well with the show. But where do you feel maybe that sense of like you want that rowdiness comes from? Like,
God, I don't know. My complicated youth, my desire to make people like me at all costs, but also like I think at some point I realized like people weren't always gonna like me, so then I just got a very like fuck. Can I swear? I can swear on this, right? Yeah, I just got very like fuck off. You don't like me? I'm gonna be here anyway. And I think there was definitely like I did a lot of like improv and sketch comedy and like theater stuff in high school, and I was I was funny. And I think the one thing that really attracted me specifically to doing funny things is one, I loved it. I love making people laugh. I think it's the most fun thing in the world. I just like being on a stage and doing something comedic, whether it's a story or stand up or whatever. But I noticed pretty early on that even people who like didn't particularly like me, or like I was also like the first out gay person ever in my high school, so that was a lot. That comes from a deep-seated place of rage. In case you're wondering. My coming out was just all anger.
Like
That's all it was, just furious rage. But I think that like comedy was like a good way for me to channel my rage, as it were. And it was funny because there were people who like didn't like me and who like very much did not like the fact that I was gay, but who like at school performances and stuff afterwards they would be like, man, you are really funny.
Right.
And so that it became like this weird way for me to be accepted, I guess. And it's fun for me. So if it makes people like me more and I'm enjoying it, let's fucking do it. Like,
and honestly, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is like, and I mean this from like a genuine place. Is there maybe like a level of like, because you're honest with your sexuality even from a young age, that like you always had that like sense of knowing yourself, so trying to put that on stage or in front of a crowd kind of really ain't shit compared to like exploring yourself as like a person to already knowing who you are, to where I don't know, like,
I definitely think it's like an interesting thing to like dissect how different performers handle that. I think for me, like I couldn't be particularly funny if I wasn't like, just being like, if I didn't share everything, like that's what I like in a comedian. Like I like someone who's just like that. But there's a bunch of comics who are just kind of like one-liner comics that are very funny, and there's like gay comics who don't talk about it that much. And that's fine too. But I feel like with them, I often feel like I'm missing out on a little something. I'm like, oh, I would actually like to hear insights about what it's like to have, a husband and be two men. Like, I think you might have something different to say about. I don't know. It's a very complicated issue to touch around.
I can imagine.
But for me personally, like, I think being honest about that stuff, definitely helps me.
Yeah,
it always has.
I mean, and me personally too. Like when I was coming up, like one of my first loves was like music. So I would always want to play my guitar or play my drums or things like that. And I love to sing, and I would love to play my guitar and sing at the same time. That's like some of my biggest heroes. And even being, just a heterosexual dude, like my stepdad would almost want to, like call me like a fairy or, whatever the fuck, just to be like derogatory. Like, why do you want to be like, like anything kind of remotely feminine or art? Yeah. For one, like tying anything artsy to being feminine, but then also like, why do you even want to expose any sense of femininity within you, kind of thing, to where I feel like even anybody, for some reason, that is such a thing to where like even myself, I've had to like have my own sense of like, well, this is who I am, and I know who I am now, so I don't really care. I like singing, I like fucking doing this thing. If that's how you feel, then whatever, fuck you. But I am who I am, so whatever, kind of a thing. To where I'm even going through that in like my own sense of like not being a shy person. I grew up a very like kind of quiet kid, all the kind of things. To where I like I said, I just very much respect anybody that can know themselves not just as a performer but as a person and know how to project that forward to be able to like. And I feel like it's always the folks that like really want the rowdy crowd and they want to be able to be like, hey, I don't care what you're doing right now, stop right now, like I'm gonna show you how to really like entertain this kind of room, sort of a feeling.
Yeah, I love that feeling. Like I said, like it just feels like you're getting away with some shit, right? Like, and what's better than getting away with something?
No, I feel it, man, because especially like, I don't know, like I've had a lot of moments where it doesn't pan out for me when I try to dig a hole, but I like trying to dig a hole and coming out of it like as like in the stand-up kind of bit or like a set or whatever. Like I'm like, all right, let's start off with some suicide jokes and let's like kind of get out of there and let's work from there, kind of a thing,
I will say that I know comedians, and I do a show called Mental Health Comedy Hour, and my co-producer, Cristiano, we both like have jokes about mental health, but I would say she has a lot more. You've probably seen her at Tret. She was the Dirty Haiku champion for a while.
Oh, probably, yeah.
But she does a lot of she does way more mental health jokes than me, and she definitely is like willing to go down to a really dark place like immediately. Whereas like I will admit that I'm like, I'll get you on my side. I'll do a couple easy bits first. And then I'll go there.
Yeah.
Because I don't like digging myself out of a hole. Like, I feel like I expect, like, my love of rowdy crowds, I'm like, that's the hole that I'm in, right? Like, that they don't want to pay attention, and I don't need to make more work for myself.
No, fair enough, because I really...
Some people love it.
Yeah.
And, hey, whatever makes you happy when doing your art.
I mean, I think there's a bit of me, too, that maybe it's just from the battle rap world that, like, when I go into a stand-up comedy environment, like, I don't know, like, when you're going into a battle... especially like a premeditated one within like our written culture and stuff, there's already, people that are fans or whatever that have a preconception of you or any of those things. You're already like, I tell people all this all the time, like in most arts that I've tried, people like the crowds are genuinely supportive. Like if you're really, really like kind of being the shits, they'll let you know, but more often than not, especially in music, they're being supportive. Whereas battling, they're looking for every excuse to not like want to be your fan right off the bat. So you have to like it's that rowdiness that we're talking about no matter what. So I think there's a part of me that's like a masochistic side to me that just like wants that even within my comedy, where I'm like, oh, you don't want to like me, huh? All right, let's keep it there then, kind of a thing. And then let's see if I can make you like how much you might not like me, kind of a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say having done like storytelling and spoken word and stuff like that before, and a lot of like poetry slam stuff, those crowds are much more supportive. People who are like into that type of art, I think, are more supportive people than say like stand-up comedy fans or battle rap fans. And I think consequently, like stand-up comedy and battle rap are more aggressive art forms, maybe. And that's just part of the deal. But then, that's so dependent on like the room and where you're going, and like are you at like a weird sort of alt comedy show, or are you like at a club? Because I think club crowds are like very hard to please. I think they're like one of the hardest comedy audiences, to be honest, because they're like they've gone to a comedy club to see comedy, and they're a little like, all right, funny man. Like, it's very like that feel. Whereas if you're like at a small like theater show that's like quirky and weird, like there are people there to see like just like weird funny stuff, and they kind of know what they're getting into at some of the smaller shows sometimes, or like even Mental Health Comedy Hour, which I talked about before. Very supportive crowd. Part of the reason the show exists is because like me and my co-host wanted a place, because sometimes like you talked about it a little bit, when you like talk about suicide and stuff, a crowd will like recoil from that. But at Mental Health Comedy Hour, the shtick of the show is that we're gonna talk about things like that. So it's people that like want to hear jokes about depression,
Oh, that's
want to hear
interesting.
jokes. So that's different than me trying to do those jokes in like a club or a bar.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different vibe.
Oh yeah, because I'm out here.
Learn to read a room. That's my advice to everyone.
That's
Learn
it.
to read a room, friends.
Fair enough. The funniest part is that, like, my girlfriend actually tells me that all the time. Like, it's like a private inside joke with us. Like, it has nothing to do with the context of what we're talking about, but just for you to pass that on right now. I'm sure she's watching this. She probably is gonna get a kick out of you saying that. Because yeah, fair enough. I'll be at the Pepper Tree in Union City, being like,
The Pepper Tree.
so you guys like autoerotic asphyxiation or what kind of a shit? And you know, maybe it's not the best. Maybe it's not the best
I feel
crowd.
like the Pepper Tree is a bit of a rough spot, so gotta grab their attention. I respect that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm more of a like, hey, if I fail 9 times out of 10, at least that 10th one's probably gonna be a really fire show, you know. And I'm just like, I'm so young into the shits, and you know, everyone that I speak to, whether it's I've talked to, like, it's actually funny. Like, I've talked to Mean Dave. I've talked to now you yourself, Wonder Dave. I wonder who is the third Pokemon evolution of Daves that I need to speak to now in the comedy world.
Well, he doesn't. His name is Dave Nihill. He used to go by Irish Dave. He is in fact Irish. He is the most in shape of all the Bay Area Daves, and he is indeed Irish. But he mostly uses his regular name now. He's like, too many adjective Daves. Just gonna use my name.
I might have to seek him down just for, like, I heard you're an Irish Dave. Yes, I mean, I'm sure none of you three have ever probably even made this correlation yourselves, but now that I've dubbed you all that. Well, I don't know in which order it goes for the Pokemon evolution, but I think the fans can decide.
I mean, listen, it's we're all pretty different, fortunately. I would say
absolutely.
I would put Irish Dave at as the main evolution, only because he's in the best shape. He looks like what is it? It's Machop, Machoke, and Machamp. He's the most Machamp looking of us, I would say. Like, he definitely has that vibe. He's just a kind of yoked dude, and I am definitely not, and nor is Mean Dave.
No.
Take no offense. Mean Dave and I can fight over who's the Machop and who's the Machamp, I guess.
Fair enough. No, yeah, and, you know, and it is Mean Dave, so he might kind of play by prison rules there.
Yeah, he's a rough dude. Listen, that guy's seen some shit. He tells some jokes about some shit.
No, for real. I love Mean Dave. Every time I see him, I'm always very impressed by, like, just how, like, much he can be, like, in the pocket, but also, like, coming up with, like, kind of a new thing, but not so much like revealing the curtain on it to the crowd. I have a huge respect for that, and he's super nice, so that's very misleading.
I think it's very funny. People have often commented that, like, off stage, Mean Dave is in fact a nicer person than I am, but on stage, Mean Dave is meaner. And I was like, well, it is a stage name, my friend.
There you go. There you go. So,
the Punchline did once put all three of us up at a local showcase in a row, and I took a photo to commemorate the moment.
That's amazing.
Quite delightful. I was like, oh, good. This has happened. Good for all of us. Because I think up until that moment, like, 2 of us had been on a show together, but never all 3. So
yeah,
we did it. We had the Dave trifecta. There's a Grandma Dave who is a poet from, I want to say Texas. I did a show with him years and years and years ago, like back in 2007, probably. So there are other adjective Daves out there. There's also a Wonder Doug, who is a comic from Columbus, Ohio. So, you know, he's fun. He's a fun boy, nice guy.
Have you guys ever thought about doing a tag team in Hood Slam? You can be Wonder Doug and Wonder Dave. It's just like the Wonder Twins.
Very fun.
No,
he's also a gay comedian, so we have a lot in common.
I mean, the gimmick's there. No, but you know, like you mentioned, like you've been doing a lot of stand-up, especially you were saying. I mean, you know, obviously not too much right now, but to mention the Punchline, that's pretty heavyweight out here in terms of like the club scene and things like that. And you know, I'm mostly fair. I'm mostly familiar with you from the Tourette's. So how long were you? Like, what's like a chicken before the egg situation? Was it Tourette's that got you into comedy, or comedy that got you in Tourette's, or do neither correlate?
Back when I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is where I'm from, I ran the Minneapolis Poetry Slam for a few years, which is how I knew Jamie from from formerly Tourette's, now the Ruckus and Rumpus Revival, because
That's right.
new names. Why not?
That's right.
Spoiler, they're both fine. I'm like, the show's still weird. Great, let's do this.
That's why I'm
What's happening? I will say whatever. I don't want to get into the name. It's a whole weird thing. I like that the new name is vaguely more like indicative of what the show is, because before people would think it was like a fundraiser for people with Tourette's, and I'd have to be like,
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I feel like a name change that doesn't give people that impression, probably for the best.
And it's Ruck and Rumpus Revival.
Ruckus and Rumpus Revival.
Ruckus and Rumpus Revival.
So it tells you it's going to be a Ruckus and Rumpus time.
That's actually a pretty fire name. But
yeah, it's fun. It's very Jamie's vibe. He's into it. Good for him.
For sure.
I'll kind of go along with whatever it is. Like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I ran the Minneapolis Poetry Slam for a number of years, and then I also helped. Even when I did slam stuff and storytelling stuff, I did mostly comedic stuff, and there was a comedy variety show called the Monday Night Comedy Show, which was like stand-up, improv, sketch, and then I would do like funny poems or stories or kind of some sketch stuff with someone. So I worked with some comedians at that, and then I moved to the Bay Area, and then shortly after started working with Jamie. That was about 10 years ago, a little over now. And then I started doing more regular stand-up out here. I don't think it really had anything to do with Tourette's or now Ruckus and Rumpus, as it were. I did know a lot of comics because of it, though, because I'd been stage managing at the Metro so much, and I'd been doing Hood Slam, and so I knew a lot of comedic performers. So it made it very easy for me to get booked, because everyone already knew who I was and knew I was a pretty competent performer. But I'd say, like, my initial forays into stand-up are probably more like the spoken word storytelling stuff, and then I host a lot, which is, I mean, the technical origin of stand-up in the history of the world is like the host would have to fill time while like the traveling ladies doing burlesque were doing costume changes in the back. So it was just filler for that, right? Like it was just you being kind of funny while we waited for the next act to like get their costume on and changed appropriately.
Fair enough.
So that's what I was doing first. So I followed the historical arc of stand-up. Isn't it magical? That's it. And then yeah, I love doing it. It's been a great fit.
We're complaining about audio issues really quickly. I'm trying to fix.
Is it my audio or yours?
It's definitely mine.
Okay.
I
can. I'll put my headphones on to see if that helps at all.
I'm not sure. They're saying there's some kind of a staticky noise. I'm not even quite sure myself. This whole time I thought we were doing all right.
All right. Does that help anyone? If we're not getting weird potential feedback from me?
I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's just keep talking for a minute. Let's see if the folks keep saying the thing. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, let's just there's usually a delay too, so let me just keep talking to the folks. I see you guys in the chat. Sorry, I usually ignore all these guys in the chat too when I talk to somebody, just because, you know, for obvious reasons. Let's see what's going on here.
Yes, let's find out. Let's hear from the chat.
Man, that's disappointing. Yeah, that is disappointing. They just say it's like underwater or something like that. I don't know what is happening here. I wish. Yeah, that's disappointing. That is disappointing. I'm just gonna keep kind of just saying stuff really quickly. I apologize, very much apologize. I don't know what went wrong.
Oh man. Oh, they're saying it's like you talk. It's breaking up.
Yeah. Oh man.
Interessante.
Ah, interesting indeed. I don't know what.
Um.
Oh man.
Well, I've got nothing to help with that.
Yeah.
It's both of us too, if I am not mistaken, from the looks of the chat.
Man, I have no idea. I've done this like a bunch, and like I said, there's been audio delay, but this is a different thing. I'm not quite understanding what's happening there. Like, it sounds fine on my end. I think it's like you were saying, it kind of sounds fine on your end, so that's disappointing.
Yeah, I might just, the basic check your cables, make sure everything's plugged in tight. That's the go-to.
Yeah,
that I've got. I'm not
for
a
sure.
sound technician.
I might have to even just cut this one for now. I apologize for that, just so I can run through all my things. I don't want to keep you too late because I'm not quite sure what the issue is, so I'm gonna have to run through a bunch of side things on my side. Yeah, I apologize for that.
Shit happens.
Shit happens. Yeah, that could be a thing too.
Who knows? Hey, I'm at Team Wonder Dave on all social media, everyone. If you can hear me, TEAM Wonder Dave. Follow me. Do it. I'm so captivating, obviously.
Yeah, super apologize. Hopefully I can work this out and maybe we can do this again another time where I'm more on my game. But yeah, very much appreciate you for carving out the time. Sorry for the mishaps, but yeah, like I said, big fan of your work. If you're going to be doing shows in the near future, I'll be like trying to keep a lookout for it, keep an eye out. And yeah, I'll try to come through and support where I can. And yeah, have yourself a good night. Apologies again for the audio.
No worries. Shit happens. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Look me up on Wonder Dave. I'm very search engine optimized. Goodbye.
What is going on, man? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to keep talking for a little bit. You guys tell me if anything changes, because I'll just keep talking on my end, because I have a few things I want to say that has nothing to do with anything, but I can just just salvage the rest of the time slot. Is it any different? I don't know. I absolutely don't know what happens when it goes like underwater or whatever the hell. I have to like. Did it just happen out of nowhere, or was it doing it the whole time? That's what I want to know. I just see you guys like I said, I was trying to be respectful from my guest. God damn it. It was happening like that the whole time. Oh, I should have just listened to you guys. I was ignoring you guys because I thought you guys were just talking amongst yourselves. Is the audio any better right now? Before you answer any other questions, is the audio better right now? That's what I want to know. I haven't even done anything except hung up choppy still. Fuck a fucking duck. I'm gonna stop this bitch. I'm gonna fucking restart it. Fuck my life, Ryne.